Hey you guys, today I'm making a video talking about soulmate relationships again, and it's because I have been going through some lifelong experiences. I think I say lifelong because I think that what I'm learning now I definitely will take with me um throughout my life. Because like I told you, soulmate relationships are really there to help you evolve and help you grow, and there's a lot that you can gain from them if you sort of are able to pay attention to the wisdom that is being offered to you from this relationship. Now, the soulmate relationship that I told you guys about in the last video is the one that has been testing me, and it's been a challenging, difficult test. Basically, when I went to Greece and had an amazing time and had fun and everything, it also was an opportunity to kind of see where that relationship is heading. Because the difficult part of it all is the fact that we are very close and we are very in tune with each other. Our relationship is really intense, very passionate, and I just know within myself that me and this person have definitely, like, he is a part of my soul family. Like, I know, because we're just like glue. We always find a way of coming back to each other all the time, and I've never had this kind of connection with somebody else. That's why sometimes I'm kind of unsure of whether this is like a twin flame relationship or whether it's a soulmate relationship, because there's definitely something about it that is really exceptional. Like, I've just never experienced this before with anybody, and it's and the things that have come out of it, things that I can't even explain, otherworldly things that have happened, has taught me that there is definitely something about this relationship that is very unique and very special. But the hard thing about it is, I think that on a human level, me and him, we both have our human challenges that really do um that does kind of strain the relationship, even though there is this intense soul connection. It's almost like if we were to sort of ascend higher than this human state, I feel like me and this person would just be so in sync with each other that we'll be like two halves of a whole. But I think on a human level, we have that factor that affects uh affects the current state of things. And what that issue is one, the fact that we don't live in the same location. Like, he's in one country, I'm in another country. He feels obligated to stay where he is, I feel obligated to stay where I am for the meantime. And because of that, it's meant that there is a strain on things. And even then, I think there's certain other things as well that shows that maybe we're just not mature enough um on a physical level to really even fully cope with a relationship that is as intense as ours is. And it's interesting because I was thinking, because I actually made this video before. With me, I always have to do videos like a number of times before I upload them because something always happens. And I was the first time when I was doing the video, I was thinking about Hancock, the movie, and a lot of people like didn't like the movie, like they think it's like total crap. To me personally, I don't think it's that bad a movie. It has Will Smith in it. I mean, it wasn't Oscar award winning, but it wasn't like the worst movie I've ever seen. And I think that movie kind of does explain a bit about soulmate relationships and twin flame kind of relationships. Even though, like, the movie, he is like a superhero, um but it's basically that Hancock and his wife, um which they say wife, but basically it's similar to a soulmate connection, or twin flame connection, in that they were created as one, and then they came into, I guess you could say, this carnation as um technically husband and wife because they were created as one, but they separated and they kind of had their own life. And then they came together at different phases in their life to be together, almost like they're just always attached to each other and drawn to each other. So even though really they're like, they have superpowers and super abilities, they can live like for like years and years and years longer than a human can live. They have all these superpowers, that they have these strengths and things. And with Hancock, he was about, fighting the bad guys and stuff like that, like superheroes are. But the thing about the relationship was that every time they came together, they lost their superpowers. It's almost like they became more human when they were together. And so now, where Hancock was before, he was like almost like invincible. When he's with his wife, he can die, he can be killed. And that kind of, and when I was really thinking about like that movie, it just reminded me so much about this relationship I have with this soulmate, in that it's the same thing. It's like we're so tied, and we always find a way of getting back together and meeting up with each other at different phases in life. But then when we are with each other, there's always this resistance that kind of makes it challenging. And that reminds me of something that I heard in another video. I believe it was 13 Signs Astrology, like one of his videos where he mentioned something about soulmate relationships. And I believe it was, and twin flames. And I think he was the one that mentioned that, in this world, there is a resistance to these relationships, to these partnerships. There is a resistance, especially to twin flames being together, because the twin flame relationship is extremely powerful. It's a powerful connection between humans. And because of it, because of the fact that this relationship can bring about, the sense of unconditional love, which obviously is is an amazing thing. At the same time, our human condition can affect that essence, the essence of unconditional love. Because when you think about it, unconditional love is something that really, it just is. It's not it's not something that has been created by us. It's not something that we can really manipulate and change. It just is. It just exists. So under it all, everything comes out of love. So everything exists in a space of unconditional love. But because of our human condition, we can resist tapping into it. And because of that, it can mean that where our lives can be so much more improved by experiencing this unconditional love, we can deny ourselves the ability to tap into it because of our human condition, which brings resistance. And because of the resistance is what keeps us living in fear, keeps us living in upset, keeps us feeling like, oh, I can never find this person that I feel really connected to. Like, that's why so many people are striving for these kind of, they want an intense relationship, they want a passionate relationship, they want to be in a very loving relationship with someone, but they're not experiencing it because on some level they are not tapping into that energy that can open up themselves to the idea of this deep connected relationship. So that's why they're not getting it. But even then, even when you get it, like I got mine, there still can be this resistance that comes in that can always separate the two of you apart. And even the two of you having your own human issues, because really that's what it is that when you are, what we're talking about here is two souls that are in a human body. And on a soul level, you're perfect. Like, everything about you is perfect. Everything about you is great. Everything about you is wonderful. Everything about you is love. But then on this physical plane, in this physical body, and having to deal with the physical world, your work situation, your family situation, all the practical things that we have to do in our lives can be barriers to us experiencing this greater intensity of love for life and joy in our lives. and things like that. And because of that, it can put a damper on even these kind of close connected relationships, because they just get in the way. So if the two people that come together, even if they are twin flames, or even if they are very deeply connected souls, if they cannot find a way to rise above their physical limitations and the physical obstacles that they are both experiencing that is going to challenge their love relationship, then essentially they are going to break apart. And when you break apart, really it doesn't benefit either one of you, because of the fact that where the two of you could have got together and could have created this intense union, which is a blessed union that should come to pass, that you should be together, because of the fact that we all are connected, we all are part of one source. So therefore, even you that is watching this video, even though I haven't physically seen you, we haven't physically been in the same space, we are connected. I'm connected with you. I'm connected with my neighbor. I'm connected with somebody that lives in Africa, even though I'm in the UK. I'm connected with somebody that lives in India. We're all interconnected as human beings on this earth plane. And we're connected with animals, nature, everything that exists, we're connected with. So being that that is the case, when we are in distress, or when we are feeling like we are unloved, or when we're feeling anything that just isn't feeling good, that is the vibe that we're putting out into the universe. That's the energy that we're giving to other people, and that we're just spreading out. So if we are in a union that is very deeply connected, that is passionate, that is highly spiritual union, then that also benefits the whole. It benefits everyone everywhere, because any form of unconditional love that is able to be expressed and to be exuded out is always going to affect others around. So and that's another reason why there is this resistance to these relationships really fully coming about, because what we have to do as human beings is we have to try our best to find the way to be able to evolve and to be mature enough and to be I guess even knowledgeable enough to be able to exist in a way where our physical limitations are not going to completely and totally hold us back from being the best versions of ourselves, and being in partnerships that can really empower us and that can really bring about healing to not only ourselves but to the earth in general. But for me, I guess that's the great task, that I don't know exactly at which point that the two of us, me and this soulmate, will be able to really get past our human conditions. I think maybe I know that I think at this stage right now, we're not at that stage yet, where we can surpass those things, and I'm hoping at some point we will be. And I feel like both of us at some point we will, I believe. He's a very spiritual person and I'm a very spiritual person, and I think that we are trying to both improve ourselves separately. And maybe if we can continue on working on ourselves, maybe at some point we could reach that point. But I think that both of us we still have a lot of evolving to do first, and that's entirely okay. But what I'm trying to do more than anything is trying to let go of attachment, because attachment is something that the ego creates. The ego likes possession of things. And I think that because of the fact that me and this person are so close, I feel like in a way that I may have treated him as a possession, like we're just supposed to be together because of this connection we have. And sometimes you're just not supposed to be together. Sometimes that's just what has to happen, especially if the timing isn't right and you both still have a lot of work to do on yourself. Sometimes it's just not the right time to really be in that kind of relationship that you desire. And And it's a hard truth to accept on an ego level, but on a deeper level, I can understand it. And so my Course in Miracles has instructed me that, as well as my oracle cards, have instructed me that I have to practice more forgiveness, and and in forgiving, I have to let go of the attachments, the associations I have with people, and expectations I have with people, and I have to let go of judgment and guilt, and um, and those are quite challenging things to let go of. um, as a human being, those are things that we seem to hold near and dear to us, and it's a very powerful lesson, um, to be able to let go of those kind of things, those kind of human conditions that we find ourselves in, and to surpass those things, and look at life in a sense of, okay, I'm passing through these experiences, but I'm not attaching myself to any of them. So, with that in mind, I have to let go of this relationship. I can't attach myself to it because that's just going to cause more distress. So, I have to accept that, okay, this is where things are at. And whether they change, whether they don't change, um, I have to accept it for what it is and just continue on the path that I'm going down, and kind of let the universe kind of bring in what it brings. So I think if there was a tarot card that explains my experience right now, it would be the Hanged Man. The Hanged Man is about surrendering, and about sacrifice, and about retreating um, into a period of enlightenment. So, and I definitely feel that that's where I'm at right now. That's what I need to do. I need to practice surrendering, and letting the universe kind of play itself out, and just sort of seeing how things go. So this is another long video. I'm really long-winded these days. I'm sorry. Okay, then I'll see you guys. Bye.